I'm here to read another fairy tale to you today. This one is called Little, you should know that word, Red Riding Hood. It's by Mara Alperin and it's illustrated by Loretta Schauer. And I do have permission from Scholastic to read this one to you today. So just like all of our fairy tales, they're set up to teach a lesson. I think you'll figure this lesson out pretty quickly, and we'll talk about it a little bit when I'm finished. There's a bad guy, and it's a character that might remind you of another fairy tale. Okay, here we go. Little Red Riding Hood. Once there was a little girl who loved to wear red. She had red shirts and red skirts and red shoes and a fabulous bright red cloak. Her name was Little Red Riding Hood. Early one morning, Little Red's mother packed up a basket. "I have a very special job for you," she told Little Red. "Granny is feeling poorly. Will you take her this fresh fruit?" "Of course," cried Little Red, and she put on her favorite cloak and kissed her mother goodbye. It was a bright sunny day, and Little Red skipped through the woods. "Good morning," she called to the rabbits and the deer. "I'm bringing Granny a special surprise." But someone was peeping from behind the tree. A big, hungry wolf. "Good day," growled the wolf. "What are you doing in the woods all alone?" "I'm taking this special basket of fruit to Granny," Little Red replied. Yuck, thought the wolf. He didn't like fruit. He liked to eat tasty little girls. So the wolf thought up a plan, a horrible, clever plan. Why not pick Granny some lovely flowers, he said. "Oh, good idea," said Red. But as she started gathering daisies, the wolf raced down the path towards Granny's house. The wolf knocked on Granny's door with a thud, thud, thud. "Is that you, Little Red, my dear?" called Granny. "Yes," squeaked the wolf. "Let me in. It's breakfast time." "Oh, goody," said Granny, opening the door. "What are you having for breakfast?" "You!" cried the wolf. "Ah!" yelled Granny. "You're not Little Red!" And she slammed the door right on his big furry nose. "Ow, ow, ow!" howled the wolf. Quick as a flash, Granny ran out of the back door and ran into the woods to find help. "Horrid old Granny," the wolf cried. "Sorry, Iggy's barking. Iggy, go." "Horrid old Granny," the wolf growled, rubbing his nose. But now he could put his terrible plan into action. Look what he's doing. Do you see how he's putting on Granny's clothes? So when Little Red knocked, tap, 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 on Granny's door, it was a deep, scratchy voice that answered, "Come in, my dear." Little Red walked into Granny's bedroom and stopped in surprise. "Why, Granny," she said slowly, "what big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my dear," croaked the wolf. "And Granny," Little Red said carefully, "what big, hairy arms you have." The better to hug you with, my dear, growled the wolf. But, Granny, Little Red whispered, what big teeth you have. The better to eat you with, my dear, snarled the wolf, and he pounced on Little Red. Just at that moment, the door burst open. In rushed Granny with the woodcutter. Stop right there, yelled Granny. Put her down, bellowed the woodcutter, or we'll chop you up and turn you into a birdhouse. With a terrified howl, the wolf jumped out the window and ran far, far away, never to return. Little Red hugged her Granny tight. I'm so glad you chased that wolf away, she said. And she gave Granny the basket of fruit. What a day of excitement, laughed Granny. Now let's all have breakfast. And that's the end. So I bet that you guys figured out that Little Red probably should not have been talking to a stranger on the way to Granny's house. I'm sure your parents have talked to you about strangers, and it's not safe to talk to a stranger. If you don't know them, you don't need to talk to them. And if Little Red hadn't talked to the wolf, he would have never known that she was going to Granny's house, and he wouldn't have run ahead of her and tried to get in there where he could hurt them. So don't talk to strangers, and be careful who you share information with, because they might not be nice people. Okay, did you notice that the bad guy in this story was a wolf? And we have read another story where the bad guy was a wolf. Can you remember which fairy tale it is? Tell it to someone in your family. I'll see you next time, guys. I love you. Bye.
No.